Hey Texas voters, welcome to part 12 of the 17 state constitutional amendments up for our vote this November. I'm going to keep this intro short because Proposition 12 is, well, a little heavier than the others. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video so this info can get out to more Texas voters. That way they can either get a little bit more informed or take it a step further and do more research if they so choose. I'm super impressed with the views on the very first video being over 100,000. That's amazing. However, there's a sharp drop off from all of the sequential videos after that, and I just want to make sure that everyone can see all of what's going on and not just that first one piece. I apologize in advance. This one is pretty wordy, so I may have to do some speed reading, but what you can do is you can click on the options of this video, scroll over and adjust the speed, and you can actually slow it down. That way it's a little bit more easier, more digestible for you to take in. So we're going to go over the plain language of the proposition, go through the overview, and then I'm going to pull in the additional resources I looked up in my research, which for this one, I did fairly more than I did on the previous ones. All right, bear with me through this. Texas Proposition 12, Change Membership and Authority of State Commission on Judicial Conduct Amendment. A yes vote supports amending the state constitution to make changes to judicial oversight policies in the state, including changing the composition of the 13-member state commission on judicial conduct, the composition of the tribunal that reviews the commission's recommendations, and the authority and process for sanctioning and removing judges. A no vote opposes amending the state constitution to make changes to judicial oversight policies in the state. Right into the overview. Proposition 12 would amend the Constitution to change the composition of the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, which is the SCJC, requiring only 2 of the 6 judicial members to be trial court judges and prohibiting judges from serving alongside others from the same type of court except for trial judges. The remaining 7 members of the 13-member commission would be citizens, appointed by the Texas governor with the advice and consent of the state senate, who are at least 35 years old. The amendment would also authorize the SCJC to issue private reprimands or training requirements for judges with no prior sanctions and who are not involved in criminal conduct. It would update the disciplinary process, mandating public sanctions or referrals for removal or suspension if misconduct is found to be willful or persistent. Prop 12 would also restructure the review tribunal and authorize it to suspend judges without pay and, in certain cases, ban them from future judicial office. Okay, so quick history review from the research that I did do on this. This original amendment was created in 1965 to establish this board in order to make sure that judges within the state were abiding not only by upholding their oath, but acting ethically as well. And this board was created by members split from different sections. So you had judges who were serving in different types of courts that would be appointed to it by the state Supreme Court. And then you would also have a few attorneys or lawyers who would be a part of the board, and citizens as well who were appointed to the board by the governor. And with all bias removed, this is a good thing because this is essentially kind of one of the only ways outside of anything that's criminally related to hold one of our 3 branches of government accountable for their actions. Although I do question and have curiosity about why it was created in 1965. So a little bit more formal about what the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct does. They investigate and discipline judges who violate the Texas Code of Judicial Conduct. It works by receiving complaints, which the commission staff investigate through various methods like reviewing court records or interviewing witnesses. Based on these investigations, the commission can dismiss complaints, issue formal sanctions, or recommend suspension or removal of a judge. The commission aims to protect the public from judicial misconduct by enforcing ethical standards for judges. The overview said things would change, but it didn't state at all what it would change from, so here's a little bit more detail. The commission would expand from 13 to 15 members, but with a different makeup. The number of citizen members would increase to 7 from 5, and the number of judicial members would be set at 6, from 6, but with different court requirements. The minimum age to serve on the commission would also increase from 30 to 35. And remember, the citizen members are appointed by the governor after approval from the Senate. Changes to judicial representation. The new structure would require 6 judicial members to be appointed by the Texas State Supreme Court, with 2 specifically being trial court judges. The amendment would also prohibit judicial members from serving on the same type of court as another judicial member, except for trial court judges. The SCJC would gain new disciplinary authorities, including the ability to issue private reprimands, warnings, censures, or training requirements for minor offenses. For more serious conduct, defined as willful or persistent conduct that is clearly inconsistent with the proper performance of a judge's duties, public sanctions would be mandatory. The Commission could also recommend to the Texas Supreme Court that a judge be suspended with or without pay pending a final decision on misconduct charges. The Review Tribunal, which handles recommendations for judge removal or retirement, would also have expanded authority, including the power to issue suspensions without pay for a specified period. Additionally, in cases of involuntary retirement or removal, the tribunal would be required to prohibit the individual from holding future judicial office. I can't say that word very well. Oversight is great. I think that's something we've established in previous videos. However, there are some caveats to what's going on with this type of extra oversight. One of those caveats being the strained and conflicted relationship between the legislative and executive branches and the judicial branch. They don't like the way they're doing their jobs, which, you're not always going to, but it's kind of their job to tell you that, hey, you can't do that as part of your job. Another caveat being who the members that are appointed and who gets to appoint them and how. In Texas, the governor appoints 5 citizen members, which could be up to 7 if this were to pass, to the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, and the Texas Senate must confirm these appointments. These citizen members cannot be judges or attorneys. The governor's decision is influenced by the candidate's professional and personal background, as well as the board's existing composition. The appointment process. Application. The governor's office reviews applications from interested individuals. Applicants must meet the qualifications for the position, which for citizen members means they cannot be attorneys or judges. They're all also trying to up the age from 30 to 35. Not sure why. Review of qualifications. The governor's appointments office reviews the applicant's background and experience. They also look at the makeup of the existing commission to ensure a balanced composition. All members of the Commission on Judicial Conduct, including the citizen members appointed by the governor, serve staggered 6-year terms. Senate approval. The Texas Senate must approve all appointments. This can involve a senator from the nominee's district approving the potential nominee before the formal appointment. Final decision. The governor makes the final decision on the appointment after considering the recommendations and qualifications of the candidates. So here's how the makeup is currently formed. The governor appoints 5 citizen members. The Texas Supreme Court appoints 6 judge members, 1 from each of the different court levels. And the State Bar of Texas appoints 2 attorney members who are not judges. It would also change the makeup of who the Texas Supreme Court could appoint, right? So 2 trial court judges, and then the other judges who would be appointed could not have served alongside each other in the other levels of the courts. It would also have the other implications as well as extending the disciplinary power of the Commission and the Review Tribunal. So who are the last 5 board members that Abbott appointed? Glad you asked. Their names are Yannan Weiss, April Aguiar, Derek M. Cohen, Andy Kahan, and Kathy P. Ward. Now, credit where it's due. 2 of these board members were or are victim advocates, and as well as 2 of the members, and I think one of them is also a victim advocate and a veteran, but 2 are veterans as well. But also, one of those victims advocates believes in more incarceration. It wouldn't shock you that the information that I could find, it seems as if most of them, and possibly all of them, lean pretty hard Republican. Yannan Weiss was not too far in the past a contributor on Fox News, talking about the Izzy and Pally thing, and saying some things on that. And April was on News Nation. Derek Cohen is a contributor on The Federalist. It was hard to find too much information on Kathy P. Ward, but I do know that at one point she was the Collins County Commissioner. Yep, seems pretty balanced if you ask me. We're out of time. This one easily could have been a longer video with the amount of information that's involved in this particular amendment, but that's a wrap. If you have any comments, questions, or want more details, leave them in the comment. Don't forget to like and share.